What's going on, guys? Ozers here. Today I'm going to be doing a video on this beautiful 2025 Z900. So this is my new bike. I had the Kawasaki Z650 before this bike. I love it. I absolutely love this bike. It's a big jump from the 650 to the Z900, but honestly, you know what? Starting off on this bike, I don't know if it would be quite a good idea because it is powerful. It's got a lot of torque. It's got a lot of horsepower. It's just a great bike overall. So this is going to be a video on whether you should buy the Kawasaki Z900 and my thoughts and opinions on this bike after owning it for well, one season, I guess I could say. I got about 3,000 clicks on it, kilometers. And I've been riding it pretty hard, and she's been dealing with it. So, the Kawasaki Z900 2025 and up comes with a 6-speed quick shifter, up and down. So it's got the auto blip down, which is truly amazing. Because I know on the 2024s and unders, fuck, man. People are stupid here. I know on the 2024s and under can add a quick shifter to it, but the research that I have done, you cannot add the downshift to the older Z900s. You can only add the quick shifter up, which is still good, but you know, the downshift, in my opinion, is what makes the quick shifter so great. You know, it auto blips it for you, it rev matches it, and you know, if you're going to do a race or something, you know, look, you just boom, downshift and you're there. So, comes with Kawasaki traction control, comes with power modes. You also have cruise control right here, which is amazing, you know, on the highway. If you do a lot of highway commutes, you set your cruise control, you don't have to worry about it if your hand is aching, you know, or if you've been driving for a while and you find you have a grippy, very grippy throttle hand, and your hand gets, you know, sore after a while, you set the cruise control and you can just chill. It also has ABS, cornering control, wheelie control integrated with the traction control. You got different modes on here. You got rider mode, you got road, rain, and sports mode. So all of these supply a different amount of power and technology. Basically, it's basically different tunes on the bike that comes with Kawasaki. So for sports mode, you basically have no traction control and it's full power. Well, you're supposed to have no traction control, but I find in sports mode, it's still, you know, if you don't do clutch ups, it's a little hard to get the front wheel up. So I like to ride it in rider mode. So you can set your power to F, which means full. You can turn traction control completely off, which allows you to do wheelies, allows you to do, you know, ride the bike raw, get the raw experience for the bike. You have a lot of different options for screens, and you can put it to night mode, you can put it to day mode, which turns the screen white. You can change the whole display. There's 2 display options on that, which I really like. The second display allows you to choose your lean angle displayed on the screen as you're driving, which is a bonus if you like, you know, riding on twisty road. For the lean angles, you could change the display. So if you hold the select button, it brings you to the display. You go down display, go to modes. You can go over to mode 2 and you have your lean angle right here. So the more you lean the bike, it's going to move. It goes up to 50 degrees, which I love. I like how you could change the displays on this, and that's what I was talking about before. It shows your traction control, shows your gas level over here. These are your rider modes. Right now I'm in rider mode, which allows me to control what the output is, full power and traction control off. But if you hold this button, it could go into rain, it'll go into road, and you also have sports mode. So sports mode is supposed to be pretty much raw. You're not supposed to have any lift control or any control helping you out. I find that when I'm trying to pop wheelies with the gas, rider mode is the best bet with traction control off. So this bike provides plenty of horsepower and it's plenty fun. in the twisties.
In the front here, we have radial mounted front brakes, dual on both sides, which allows pretty good stopping power. On the back, you still do have the Nissan as well. They're not the greatest, but you know, they do the job. I had them on my 650, and on this bike, it stops it when it needs to be stopped.
This bike is a little bit more on the heavier side, but surprisingly, it is quite nimble. So, you know, it is a little bit heavier than its predecessors, and it is a little bit heavier than its competitors. So it is a little bit heavier than the MT-09. But, you know, everybody likes to compare those bikes. Me personally, I don't, because, you know, it's two different type of machines. This is more of a straight line warrior, very linear power all throughout the rev range, through every gear, you know, first, second, third, fourth, even fifth gear and sixth gear have a little bit of a kick to them. So I really like that about this bike.
This comes with a powerful inline 4 engine that produces 948 cc's. It's pretty smooth and very linear across the rev range. Spent 11 grand on this bike. For the money, you can't go wrong. It delivers performance, and it's a lower price than most of its competitors, like the Yamaha MT-09.
If you're looking at this for your first bike, you know, I probably wouldn't recommend it if you're learning. You know, me, I started on the Z650, and I really enjoyed that bike. You know, that bike was plenty enough horsepower for a beginner. It actually surprised the fuck out of me. You know, my buddy has an MT-09, and we would do races, and you know, it wasn't that far off for a little 650. You know, the 2-cylinder, you slap an exhaust on those things, can't beat the sound. Beginners ask me, you know, if they should start on a 900. I would recommend that they do not start on the 900. I recommend they start on the 650.
So thanks to the traction control, that also means that this has lift control, or other known as wheelie control, because that is integrated in the traction control. So if you have traction control activated, you also have wheelie control activated, which is good, because if you're a new rider and you you know, tend to give it too much throttle, then you know, the front wheel is definitely going to lift up on this bike. My back tire is pretty much already worn out. So having lift control, or wheelie control as you call it, is definitely a bonus. Again, you can turn it off. It's not permanently on there, so you can turn it off when you turn off traction control. So if you're like me and you like coming to the twisties such as these, you know, this bike is very agile for its class, which allows it to be very good in twisties and tight turns. You can get some pretty good lean angles. Let's see if I got some chicken strips. Oh yeah, I got some, you know, big old chicken strips, but that is okay. I like me some chicken. So you got the modern TFT display with this bike. You know, when you turn it on, you have the little Kawasaki, let the good times roll. You know, you have all your settings. It's a very beautiful display. It's pretty much like a tablet. One of the biggest and strongest factors has to be the new ergonomics. Like, the look of this bike is insane. The shape of it, the lines, the body, it's just beautiful, especially when you get rid of that fender. You got to get yourself a fender eliminator and a slip-on.
So this bike has 123 horsepower and 73 foot-pounds of torque, you know, which is nothing to scoff at. It is a straight line warrior. A lot of people like to put exhausts and tunes on it. You could squeeze a couple of more horsepower out of it. I know of a couple tunes that get rid of a lot of the restrictions, because you got a lot of top end restrictions on this bike. I find, you know, it cuts off at high RPMs. So, you know, some people don't like that and they get rid of it. But, you know, compared to its competitors, it is at a very good price range. And some of its competitors are, you know, the Ducati Monster, or, you know, the Triumph Triple, Speed Triple. You also got the Yamaha MT-09, which is probably its biggest competitor. But for the price, you know, when I was pricing this bike for 2025 Yamaha MT-09, it was 14 grand. So it was almost 5 grand more than this bike, and it offers the same thing. You know, it's just a different ride style. If you're more of a hooligan, I'd go for that type of bike. If you like to wheelie, you like a lot of torque, it delivers it differently due to power band, but that's about it.
If you're looking for fuel economy, honestly, this bike ain't it. It is pretty hard on gas, especially if you're ripping through the gears. You're going to be filling up pretty much every day. So either you got to take it easy or don't be a bitch and fill it up. Another thing about this bike is that I find it does run hot. You know, if you're in traffic or you're city commuting, it does run at about 100 to 105 degrees, and you have no protection here, so you feel it a lot on your legs. My Z650 did not run as hot as this, but mind you, this is a bigger engine, thus more heat. Another negative would be the firm seat. So I'm pretty sure on the 25 models, they added a different padding, which is a little bit more soft. I love this Kawasaki logo here. But you know, for longer rides, 2 hours and up, your butt definitely does start to hurt a little bit. You do have adjustable suspension in the front, which is really nice. And you do have adjustable suspension in the back. The final verdict, if you want one of the best all-around naked motorcycles for the money, the 2025 Z900 is a pretty easy recommendation.